focused on this period to throw everything at us, to try to stop us being affected fundamentally, profoundly by this truth vibration transformation, because once we do that, it's game over. And so, for me, the amazing synchronicity between this vibrational change and people waking up and this bombardment of multi-level, multi-dimensional, immensely detailed impositions, mentally, physically, emotionally, on the human race to suppress us and control us. These two have synced here because this will set us free, and that is trying to stop that happening. No chance. But what that will do is make the transformation more bumpy and more challenging than it would otherwise be without this seeking to stop it. Can't stop it. This thinks it's the irresistible force, the immovable object. It ain't. This is the irresistible force, and this is going to have some real shocks as we move through the next little while, up to 2016, 2017, maybe a little longer, certainly within my lifetime, as we see this apparently impregnable, unstoppable control system structure emerging. When we see that fall, because it's a house of cards. Why? Because the energetic information construct that's held the house of cards together, which manifests itself massively as human apathy and human ignorance, which is fundamental to holding it together, that's going. And so the house of cards must fall. Sorry, chaps, just the way it is.
So what was the new information that you presented at the Brixton Academy the other day?
Well, there was quite a lot. I was working on that presentation for, well, months really, because it was really a new period in my life, and I'm going around the world with it this year, Europe and America and stuff. Maybe I could just explain how I've put this information, whatever people make of it, together over the years. It's been very simple, and it's been a constantly recurring theme. It's just repeated itself as I've moved through levels of understanding. And when as we talked about in the last time we chatted, Bill, I talked about what happened to me when I went to the psychic in 1990, when I felt for about a year that there was this presence around me, and when I was in a room alone, I wasn't alone, and it got more and more, and eventually, long story short, I went to see a psychic for the first time in my life, and she started, after the 2 visits, on the 3rd visit, she started to get this stuff, this figure in her head, and she said, I'm being told to tell you things, that I was going to go out on a world stage and I was going to reveal great secrets. And you know me, I'm presenting the snooker and the sport at the BBC at the time. I was the national spokesman for the Green Party and all that stuff, but I'm going to go out on a world stage and reveal great secrets. I mean, you know, what? But something inside me, beyond the conscious level, was going, you are, go with it. But anyway, where I'm going with this is, among these messages that was given to me in 1990 were, he will say things and wonder where they came from. They will be our words. Sometimes we will put knowledge into his mind. Sometimes he will be led to knowledge. And another one was, a little bit later, arduous seeking is not necessary. It was all organized a long time ago, words to that effect. All he has to do is follow the clues. Now, as you know, there's a famous advert in Britain, it's been going around for a few years now, and the punchline is, it does exactly what it says on the tin. Well, all I can say about they, whoever they are, at some level of disembodied consciousness, is that they have done exactly what they said on the tin. And what's happened over the years is that right from the start, really, is that I've had an insight out of nowhere that something's like it is. And then the 5 sense information starts coming. Like, I'll meet someone who brings up this subject and I pick up information about it. I'll see a book suddenly about this information. I'll have an experience which is about this information. I'll come across documents. I might see something on the internet about this information. But it's not like it's like a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months. This is a concentrated sequence. And I've learned over the years that to follow this and to recognize it, which is not difficult because it gets more powerful and the sequence gets smaller. And the reptilian thing started coming out like that. I started to get insights in the fact that, not necessarily reptilian, but that there was a non-human element to this. And at that point, I traveled America for place to place talking for about 15 days and met 12 separate people who told me about reptilian entities and their experiences with them. And that's how it works, and then it goes on. So coming around to this new information, it was the same sequence. I started writing this book from the early part, maybe about March 2009, although a great chunk was stopped when I was traveling. And I don't know, a month, 2 months into it, I sat down to start writing that day. And the energy in the room changed. I thought, I know this, I recognize this. The energy in the room changed. There was a vibrational change. You could feel it. The atmosphere changed, is a simple way of putting it. I recognized this. And what I then got as this was happening is the basic first theme was the moon is not real. Of course, there's more to know about that as came, but the moon is not real. The moon is not what you think it is. And I'm thinking, the moon's not what you think it is. Now, I've had one or two inklings about that over the years, little thought, the moon, but then it's gone. It's never gone anywhere. And so I thought, the moon's not real. So I put a few keywords into NetFind, not expecting to find a bloody thing. And within a minute, 2 minutes, I don't know, even less, I suppose, with the speed of Google and stuff, up came a book called Who Built the Moon by two researchers who've written other books. Who Built the Moon? I mean, what a wonderful title for what I've just got here. The moon's not real. And I read it. I was sent for it, and I read it immediately. And I'm not saying every last thing in the book or every last thing in any book is 100%. I mean, crikey, we're trying to uncover great mysteries, and not least mysteries that don't want to be uncovered, or at least people that don't want us to uncover them. So, I'm not saying every last word in every book is 100%. Of course it's not. It's not the way things are. But I was really, really impressed with the way they'd shown the anomalies, this very strange, unexplainable anomalies about first of all, how the moon was created. When I started reading about the scientific explanations, and that's another thing, so many scientific theories, by repetition, become, this is how it was, scientific fact. And then you go, hold on a second, scientific fact, let's go back here. Hey, it's a theory. And I came across the big whack theory about how the moon was created. And it's that a Mars-type planet hit the Earth, a great chunk came off the Earth and became the moon. And then I read, as I followed this through, that because the physics and stuff, the science of that didn't pan out, then they kind of altered it a bit, so that the planet hit the Earth and then came back and had another go. And I thought, well, that's bloody desperate, that. I'll give you one. Do you want another one? Yeah, okay, here you go. Yeah, it's the moon now. See what you caused? And the fact that the moon is far bigger than it really should be as a satellite of the Earth, that its positioning and its geometry, geometric and mathematical relationship between the Earth and the Sun particularly is very, very impressive. And and the fact that there is evidence that the moon is hollow, to a large extent hollow. I think it's in compartments. And then I came across, which many people might have come across in the past, this is all very concertinaed. The two scientists from the Soviet Academy of Sciences who wrote an article in, I think it was Sputnik magazine in the 1970s, posturing that the moon was a construct, not a total construct, necessarily, but a hollowed out planetoid, again, hollowed out, and that a very advanced